thank you so much for finding some time on show day.
Absolutely.
It's great to have you here. 4-time Grammy winner. Amazing.
Yeah.
How's that feel? Pretty good?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah. I could use a little more sleep at the moment, but I'm pretty good.
I wanted to ask you about the new album. It's so good.
Thank you.
It's also really diverse. Like there's so many different sounds on that album. So many different feels and sort of style to it all.
Yeah.
Obviously intentional, but can you talk to us a little bit about the new album and what's on it?
Yeah, well, I wasn't really planning on doing an album. I started putting music together in 2020, right after my wife delivered our third child. So
busy time.
Yeah, it was right after Grammys 2020, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and just focus on family. And then my daughter was born, and a month later, I was like, and I just bolted out the door. I went down to the Guitar Center, and we were out in LA, down in Hollywood, and I just bought a bunch of gear and started making noise.
Oh, you didn't have the ability to make music or record music where you were at? Did you have to literally go out and buy it all?
Yeah, I went out and recreated my setup that I had back in Texas.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm gonna step away from it. I just couldn't
do it.
Yeah, I have a problem. So that just led to me coming up with ideas on an MPC and recording little things. And I didn't really start thinking about a record until management called me, and they were like, hey, what have you been doing down there in Texas? So I've just been hanging out with the band, barbecuing, brisket, a little mezcal, a little red wine, and just hanging with the guys. My wife would cook sometimes. It was like just a hang, jam that turned into me kind of on the boards, running an engineer, figuring out how to use a console and all that kind of stuff. So it was just experimental until they said, hey, we need to stop messing around, like come up with something. And it's like, all right. And that was right before we started getting serious 2020, late 2022, I guess, maybe. I don't know, this pandemic is all kind of a blur.
Yeah, it's an odd time for everybody.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. Did you find that time creative for you or the opposite?
I found that time to be frustrating, and then I would kind of channel that into creativity.
Okay.
My wife would just be like, chill out. Because what are we doing? Is the business done? Are we not going to be around people? Like, what's going on? Like, it's all BS. Like, what's happening? Just, let me know something so we can figure it out.
So when you start working on music, do you know ahead of time, is it intentional? Like I'm sitting down now to make an album, or are you just creating to create? And then as you create, it sort of evolves into, hey, I might have some songs here that are...
the whole creative process is not like to sit down and do a project. It's just, I'm just gonna go in the studio and see what happens.
Yeah.
There's no form to it. I just pick something and start making some noise.
You've got a great single out now with Stevie Wonder.
Yes.
Tell us that story. Did you guys already know each other before you worked on the song?
I met Stevie before. I played with him previously, and I'd done a tribute to him with Beyonce and Ed Sheeran. So we're like playing Stevie Wonder songs in front of him, which is cool. Like...
So that's kind of weird.
What? But he actually called me in around June 2020 and said that he had a song that he wanted me to play on called Where's Our Love Song off for his album that he released at the time. So we've been in communication. So he called me and said he had a song called What About the Children? An idea. He said we should collaborate on it and write it together. And so what am I gonna say? No.
And there it is. Yeah. It's a great song.
Thank you.
Was that, you mentioned the pandemic, was that a song you put together during the pandemic where you could not be together?
Yeah, the song was put together, well, yeah, during the pandemic. We were going back and forth, and then it turned out that we had some time, and everyone felt comfortable enough to just be like, all right, let's just get it done, you know. So we flew out to LA and got to hang with him in the studio for a couple of days, and he's just as cool as you think.
Yeah, that's awesome. You grew up in Austin, Texas.
Yes, sir, Austin, Texas.
Which is an incredible music town. Tell me about that. Growing up as a kid, the city seems to have changed so much in the last, 30 years or so. I mean, it's different. I lived there for a little while myself, and so I wonder from your perspective, because you were, I think you were a kid in maybe the 90s or 80s?
Yeah,
right?
80s, 90s. Growing up in Austin I grew up like in a neighborhood that was kind of suburbia, but like you ride your bike and people would have like little ranches and lots and stuff. And, it was like government housing, and then like trailer park all right here, and so it was like a bunch of kids just running around, playing soccer and baseball and cul-de-sacs and stuff like that.
How'd you find music in that setting?
I didn't know about like the music scene until my friend Eve wanted to go down to a blues jam in like 1998 for her 15th birthday.
Okay.
And I was like, what? So we went down to 6th Street, and that whole city came alive to me. I hadn't really walked down there, maybe Pecan Street Festival, which is like a daytime family thing, but you're not getting like the nighttime vibes. And so as a teenager, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And, we caught just like, I think the tail end of a certain time where it was like the city was really focused on blues and Americana on the streets all the time. So now going down there, like there's old stages that I played on that have been reduced to like a DJ booth.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit funkier now. It's the buildings that kind of like shaped who I am as a person, as a musician, are pretty much all renamed and or gone. And but it's not really about the buildings, because the people, like-minded folks, will find themselves. I'm just so gone that I'm not really as connected as I would like to be. But yeah, the skyline has changed.
Yeah.
There's like young folks like on the side of town that I never thought was like gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
you played at, was it Antone's as a teenager?
Yeah, I played.
Which is a famous blues club for folks that don't know.
Yeah.
When did you find the guitar? Were you playing right away, or was that?
When did I find the guitar?
Yeah. When did you start playing?
I started playing guitar in 1996, so 2 years before we went down to this blues jam.
Okay.
And that was also because of my friend Eve. She was playing, and in middle school we had like a guitar club that our choir teacher Brent Baldwin would teach after school, and so it was a bunch of kids, some long hair and airwalks, and wanted to play like Nine Inch Nails and Nirvana, and then metal guys, wanted to play like Dimebag Darrell and punk. It was so I started playing guitar then, and then I ended up at the blues club as a teenager, and I just kind of went in that direction, I guess.
Just kept meeting people and playing, and
meeting older guys. Like they took us under their wing, and showed us how to play chords and how to call out changes in the blues shuffle, the 1, 4, 5, and the turnaround, and G natural versus G minor. And
was it something that you wanted to do as a career right from the start?
Yeah, I wanted to be a musician. I still have a friend, but before the guitar thing happened, I was really into singing, so I thought I was going to be like an R&B singer.
Okay.
And my first concert was Michael Jackson Bad Tour in like 88, 89.
It's your first concert?
That was my first concert in Denver, so I was like, what?
Wow.
It's happened, then kindergarten starts, and I was like, this is boring. You know what I mean? Where's the light show and the the smoke? Where's that the concert vibes? But yeah, so it just turned out the guitar took me in a different direction, which is, I guess, why my music sounds like the way that it does.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I was all over the place. My sister would
Influenced by-
introduce me like Alanis Morissette and Smashing Pumpkins and In Vogue and SWV and listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony and Boyz II Men and
Yeah,
stuff.
all
It was
that
just,
stuff.
That's what it is.
I feel like you can hear that on the new album. You can hear these different sounds. How is it being a touring artist and having a family? Do they get to travel with you, or do you have to go away for long periods of time? without them?
This is the first run where my whole family has been with me.
Oh,
so I got my
fun.
wife and my 3 kiddos, my boy 9, and my daughter 6 and 4. And if I'm being honest, I'm tired, man.
Yeah,
I'm tired. We got 2 more shows left, and I woke up today. I was like, man, whoo. But it's been great. I mean, a couple of them have had a meltdown, and
Sure.
maybe I have to. But it's really neat to see them like soak up
Yeah.
the world. You know what I mean? Like to see them, hop out of a tour bus and wander down the street and go to Niagara Falls.
Seeing all this, do you think do they get like what Dad does? Yeah, or do you think he just gets to go on stage and sing, or do they understand that, you're Gary Clark Jr., you're 4-time Grammy winner, like I'm somebody. Do you think they get that, or no?
My youngest daughter asked me, she was like, are all these people here to see you? I was like, yeah, I guess. It's guys in the band, and yeah. She's like, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think she's just kind of realizing it. My daughter, I think she wants to get on stage and perform.
Mm-hmm.
My son doesn't care about anything but like baseball and video games.
Yeah.
So he's like, he gets bored side stage, and then I'll come back. He's like laid on the couch in my dressing room, like chips everywhere, and like iPad with cord hanging out the wall.
I've seen that movie myself a few times.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
But it's great, and my wife is out here with me, and this. I feel for the first time on tour, like settled,
Mm-hmm.
like my worlds are like complete.
Together,
You know what I mean? It's all one and
Yeah.
not like a separate thing. Which
That's
is,
great.
Feels really nice. I don't know if we're gonna do it every time, but we're definitely going to Europe in a couple of weeks and take them over there and have them experience that.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, be cool.
Well, Gary, thanks a lot for taking the time to chat. I
Is
appreciate
that it?
That's it.
But it was cool to hang with you in this funky room they got.
No, it's nice.